Hello everybody, welcome back to another NASCAR Diecast review. Today we're reviewing a really cool diecast that I just got in the mail today after I bought it off of eBay about a couple weeks ago. It's going to be on Jerry Nadeau's 2003 number 01 U.S. Army Pontiac Grand Prix for MB2 Motorsports. Now, Action, the diecast company who made this diecast, this was the only Pontiac Grand Prix to have been released on this mold for a collector's item. I think there was another one, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back and check, but this is like the only one that I know of that got, made on the Action Racing Collectibles mold. So, all the other Pontiac diecast from 2003 were either made with Racing Champions, Hot Wheels, or Team Caliber, to my knowledge. But let's take a look at the box. You got Jerry Nadeau, number 01 Army, 2003 Grand Prix, total production of 5,616. You got your pin code or something right there. You got Action Collectibles, the choice of champions, limited edition adult collectible. You got Jerry Nadeau's signature right there. You got U.S. Army Racing, NASCAR, U.S. Army. You got the card in the background. I was talking about the card, but you got the diecast, which is the car. Look at this. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. You got 1/64 scale stock car, handcrafted in China. What I like, the most about these cars is you can put them back in the box. And you got the back end of the box, got US Army, GoArmy.com, Jerry Nadeau's signature, number 01. You got a picture of cars in the background. You got the barcode, copyright and such, and there's the schedule for the Winston Cup season and the Busch Series, Busch Grand National Series. And you got basically the rest of your stuff down here. Oops. And back here, I think in the background, I don't know what that is. It could be soldiers or Army veterans. I'm not 100% sure, but man, this is a really cool paint scheme that this team used from 2003 to 2007, because after 2002, when M&M's left MB2 Motorsports to go over to, of course, Robert Yates Racing and Elliott Sadler in the 38 car, they had to, make up a second team to become to still stay at two-car operation, and they got the number 01 team that they used alongside the number 10 Johnny Benson Valvoline car. So, without further ado, let's get this diecast out of the box, shall we? Alright, we're back. Here's the box that we took the car out of, and here's the diecast itself. Wow. Take a look at this. Really cool design for this car. So yeah, MB2 Motorsports was alongside, PPI Motorsports, the Tide Ride as they would call it, Haas CNC Racing, which eventually became, Stuart Haas Racing in 2009 and from 2003, and even, also I forgot to mention, Morgan McClure Motorsports, the number 4 car, the Kodak machine, and even had, sometimes Score Motorsports with Hermes Sadler driving the car. They would occasionally run, Chevys and Pontiacs in 2003. And of course, the other MB2 Motorsports team, the Valvoline number 10 team, the Score Motorsports team was the number 02 team, Haas team was number 0, and PPI Motorsports team was number 32, and this one, of course, is 01. It was after, Joe Gibbs Racing left Pontiac after 2002 to head to Chevy, and honestly, imagine what the Joe Gibbs cars would have looked like on the Pontiac Grand Prix instead of this. Sure, they look decent on the Chevy, but Chevrolet Monte Carlo, but imagine if they were on the Pontiac. But that's what really set Pontiac's fate in NASCAR, which prompted them to leave after 2003. Not fully after 2003, they did sponsor Andy Belmont Racing, the number 59 Pontiac, but without the Pontiac emblem in 2004. And even Score Motorsports, again, used Pontiacs. But as you can tell, man, this is a really detailed car, as you can see here. Love the paint scheme. Support always your troops. Support the troops. Support the first responders. Just as I really miss these army paint schemes in NASCAR because they really meant a lot to the sport and they meant a lot to a lot of people. And it's on the 2003 Pontiac Grand Prix mold. I mean, look at that. That is gorgeous. So, as you're gonna head, and that's basically why Pontiac left NASCAR's because General Motorsports put more focus into Chevrolet than Pontiac. And they retired full time. So, Jerry Nadeau's 2003 season was, quite a sad one, but we'll get to more of that in a second as we're going to take a look. And the sponsors, we'll do more in that in a second. You got U.S. Army. You got the star for the U.S. Army. You got Pontiac with the Pontiac emblem, number 01, MB2, Motorsports logo. You got Grand Prix right there. You got the front stylish headlights, the grille. You got the red line across, the front grille. You got Union 76, which they used to be the sponsor of NASCAR for the official fuel sponsor from 1948 to 2003. Yeah, they were there for over 55 years until Sunoco took over in 2004. And to show proof that I'm not crazy, I'm gonna show Kevin Harvick's 2003 car, 2023 car. There you go. You see the Sunoco compared to the 76. So yeah, you got Moog, Simpson. I think that's what's, Moog, Simpson, Enterprise. You got Goodyear. You got, a reddish outline to the tires. You got a big star behind these contingencies, which looks really nice. MB&A, Waste Management, Free M, Mac Tools, EA Sports. What does that say? Don't know what that logo says. What that logo says. Holly, not sure what that logo says. I'm really sorry. You got USG. I'm not sure what that sponsor is. You got a couple of controversial sponsors that are not supposed to be on this car, but because it's an adult collectible and this was a different time, they were allowed to be on the car without a base underneath. You got the NASCAR official race car logo. You got the NASCAR Winston Cup logo. Hell yeah. How about that? A cigarette sponsor is on this car and there's no base underneath it. That's really cool. And you thought that was insane. There's a Bud Pull Award. Still no base. That's what these diecasts used to be so good back then. You got McDonald's drive-thru right there, as you can see. Mechanic. Not sure what that logo says. Does that say Motorhome or Freightliner? I'm not sure. You got Jessel. You got Jerry Nadeau's name on the name rail with, I believe, what is that? The Navy flag, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. You got number 01. I love how it goes from like black right here to then yellow to then some grayish, greenish black background. You see the gray fades right back into the black. You got the American flag once again. U.S. Army, USG. USG again, Valvoline, because Valvoline was another associate sponsor with MB2 Motorsports since they sponsored Johnny Benson. What's that saying? I don't know what that little red logo says. You got U.S. Army right there. I have no idea what those two logos say on the B pillar. Sorry about that. You go to the other side of the car. Basically the same stuff as on the other side. As you can see, there's a jack stand to lift up the car. You got the American fuel. You got the fuel cell. It was not the American ethanol ring at the time, I don't believe. You got detail to the windows, as you can see on the other side, and just this diecast looks really cool, and the tires really pop out. I forgot. What would these two logos say up here? Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry about that. That one says Moog. Does that one say move? I don't know. And then this one, I forgot to say what that one is. I'm sorry about that. A little miscalculation, but it is what it is. I'm just so distracted by this car. How nice it looks. Jeez. You got GoArmy.com, number 01, Pontiac. This thing wants to focus. You got the spoiler rivets. You got nothing on the deck lid. You got 01, and take a look at this. The hood opens up. I could not get the hood opened up on a Tony Stewart one. Got U.S. Army with the logo right there, and you can see the engine. Oh, you can see the engine. Looks really cool. And then there's, if you want to see the interior detail, you can. There's the roll bar, there's the seat, there's the dash, there's the roll cage, there's the mirror, there's, the window nets, there's the steering wheel right there. Just looks really cool, this die cast, as you all can tell right here. And then you got like more detail back here, as usual. So yeah, really nice die cast. No, here's whoops. That was by accident. That was not intended. But you go back under here, you got detail to the undercarriage of the car. Way better than what you get on the other cars with that. I mean, look at that. Look at that. So yeah, good thing it didn't hit any other cars. It just went down here, so it should be fine. Oh, I forgot to mention there's the tail lights with the headlights. So Jerry Nadeau, we're going to get right back into the tragic story of what happened with Jerry Nadeau. Unfortunately, he got into a really vicious practice crash at Richmond in spring 2003, and he had to miss the rest of the season because of it, and his career was ruined because of it. What happened is he lost control of his car coming to the turn, and then he hit the wall like head on with the car on the one side and on the driver's side, and he had to be cut out of the car and taken to the hospital. And the doctors or the paramedics, they only gave him a 6% chance of survival. Plus, he was in a coma for over 3 weeks. Man, that's really, really depressing to hear that. It's like, and scary too. Nearly knowing that you had your life almost taken away from you, just like that. And it's still sad. It really is. Jerry Nadeau is still one of the most what if drivers in NASCAR. If you've not seen my video that I made a couple weeks back, or a week ago, I don't know, about the top 6 what if drivers, he was on that list. And here's what I had to say in that video. I said that Jerry Nadeau, if he did not get in that crash, would have mostly likely been another Mike Wallace, J.J. Yaley, Mike Bliss, Landon Castle, and would have had, and Kenny Wallace type career, where if a team needed a driver to drive their car, he would be available. But Nadeau was, of course, he was already signed with MB2 Motorsports, so, and most likely after 2006, he would have went to that direction. And not to mention, the year prior, he drove for like 4 different teams. He drove, of course, for MB2 Motorsports, which was at that time called MBV Motorsports. He drove for Michael Waltrip's Aaron's Dream Machine, a Dream Team machine. I don't know, Talladega, I assume. He started off the season with Hendrick Motorsports, and he also spent the majority of the season in the Petty Enterprises number 44 Dodge. And Joe Nemechek replaced him at Hendrick. Ultimately, replaced him after 2003 because of the injury. Like, they got Joe Nemechek to drive the rest of the season. And they got Brian Vickers, I think, to come up to the Cup Series. And after 2006, Mark Martin would have replaced Jerry Nadeau instead of Joe Nemechek. And not to mention this certain car had quite a few drivers drive for it alongside Joe Nemechek. Boris Said did at least, I think, Sonoma. And then, of course, you had Mike Skinner, who was released from Morgan McLaren Motorsports after a lack of performance. His only best finish with that team was, 11th at Darlington, the same race where Pontiac got their final career win at. And you had also the aforementioned Mike Wallace. He drove the car because Mike was one of those guys who were just a strange starter in general. Like, he was at that time he was running for Bugatti Motorsports in the Busch Series, but he jumped around from like Phoenix Racing to MB2 Motorsports. Like, he was everywhere in 2003, and his whole career as well. And also, I forgot to mention this, but the 01 number right here, the 01 number, the MB2 Motorsports used from U.S. Army, was this exact same 01 font that U.S. Army used for their tanks, called an Army of One. That is really cool. That's a really cool fact for Jerry Nadeau. And I mean this whole team as well from 2003 to 2007. Granted, 2007 they're called Gin Racing, but they're still had the MB2 Motorsports like team, and you get what I mean. I'm trying not for it to fall over. I'm trying to keep it upright, and that's a really cool fact. And also, Jerry Nadeau got actually a top 5 at the spring 2003 Texas race, finishing 4th, by the way, which I think is really cool. And here's a more not a morbid, but here's a really unsettling fact. Like, just the day before Jerry Nadeau got in that car to race, he he went to visit injured soldiers at a hospital to see how they're doing and check up on them. And unfortunately, he became harmed as one of them as well, which is really sad, man. Who knows what Jerry Nadeau could have done with his career, man. I doubt he would have won a lot more races and had like a Steve Park career, because let's be honest, when Jerry Nadeau drove in the Cup Series, that Atlanta win, in 2000. That was his only NASCAR win, the Fall Atlanta race. That was his only win. He probably would have won another race, just one more with this team right here, but unfortunately we'll never get to know. And yeah, that's a tragic tale and tragic case of Jerry Nadeau. That car, like, especially on this side, facing this way, that gives off some bad vibes or bad memories. But I also like how there's yellow on the hood, or yellow on the front end of the car. It looks really sharp. And also, this car has all kinds of sponsors. So remember when I said that there was the Winston Cup logo, the Winston logo, Budweiser logo? Of course you have a cigarette sponsor, an alcohol sponsor, a restaurant sponsor selling food, a gaming sports sponsor, EA Sports, an oil sponsor, 2 of them, 76, Union 76 and Valvoline, a garbage and recycling sponsor being Waste Management, a healthcare sponsor being 3M. So this car has it all. Also, the tire sponsor, Goodyear. So this car has a lot going for it. It looks really cool. Also forgot to mention there's a red line continuing through the under the car, and of course there's the red outline to this beast. It looks really, really sharp as usual. And it has all the sponsors. I'm not sure what USG is, but regardless, it looks really cool. It looks really, really sharp. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As I'm trying to get back in place because it wants to slip. Okay. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching this review. If you did enjoy it, make sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe. Oh, I forgot to mention. Before we get to that, here's a random side-by-side comparison of the other Pontiac I have open. Of course, it's going to be random, but it's Richard Petty's 1984 Pontiac Grand Prix Daytona 200 win. As you can see, there's a big difference between the car. They're both the Pontiac Grand Prix. You can see a different period of time. Just in general, these cars look really nice. As you can see, the undercarriage. So yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bell, comment down below what you think about this diecast, and I'll see you next time. Peace.